Hey, welcome to 1500ESPN.com. I'm Derek Wetmore. This is Andrew Kramer. Hope you are enjoying whatever Thanksgiving holiday break you're taking. We've got a Vikings video here for you, and then right after this, we're about to record the latest episode of the Purple Podcast, so do check that out on 1500ESPN.com. This video, Andrew, we're going to talk about Teddy Bridgewater, his slow starts to games, and kind of the opinion of the head coach in that regard. Mounting injury concerns for the Vikings. What else is new?
Yeah.
And then finally, we talked with Panthers center Ryan Kalil, the older brother of Vikings left tackle Matt Kalil, today on a conference call with several reporters, and that was a pretty interesting conversation, I thought, Andrew. We'll get into the highlights of that conversation, sort of what Ryan thinks about his brother here in his struggles in 2014. First and foremost, though, Andrew, we got to talk about the quarterback. The rookie is the most important player on the Vikings, and as we've noted many times in the past, and as many have noted, he's had some slow starts to games. You talked to Mike Zimmer about that this morning at a press conference. What's the head coach's opinion of where his rookie is at?
Well, basically, they're just trying to figure out why he's not able to replicate what he's been doing at the end of games at the start of these games. Yeah. Obviously, he's been able to put up points when his team needs it. The direct quote from Mike Zimmer today was, he's been pretty good when he needs to be. Yeah. It's just when he doesn't need to be, then you start seeing those inaccuracies and those head-scratching decisions from a rookie quarterback. The kid's only 22 years old. His press conference today only lasted 4 minutes because there's only so many questions you can ask a kid what he's doing wrong because he truly doesn't know necessarily. Because if he did, he wouldn't keep making these same mistakes. Right. So at the beginning of games, Mike Zimmer said we just need him to calm down a little bit. Teddy had an interesting comment basically saying that Norv Turner at halftime of this past game said, you're just trying to feel out the defense too much. You just need to go out and do what you're doing. And basically for a kid who's, just a year removed from playing at Louisville, those are some situations you're going to need to get over. And for a guy that they didn't want to start initially, they did not want to put Teddy Bridgewater on the field in 2014. Those are to be expected, those kind of growing pains. So, but the stats are glaring. At the beginning of games, they've only put up a couple field goals in his 6th start since that Atlanta Falcons outing where they put up 41 points and just blew up. That's really set a pedestal that Teddy's failed to reach since then, and maybe that's been in his own mind, that he's not doing what he knows he's capable of. Because even when Green Bay had those blown coverages on Sunday, early in the game, he was not able to capitalize.
Yeah, he's missing receivers early, and then as you mentioned, he calms down, and when the game is on the line, that final drive, the fourth quarter against Green Bay, Bridgewater looked good again.
He did, and people have, a lot of people say, well, why can't they run no huddle or do some kind of hurry up at the beginning of games? It's not that simple because you can't recreate all those kind of scenarios or situations at the beginning of games because the defense is doing things differently at the beginning than they are at the end. Which you noticed on that 10-12 play scoring drive at the end on Sunday, it was just a bunch of 5, 6 yard, 10-yard passes for Teddy because they were playing off coverage. The Packers were playing back more because they knew they had time in a 2-score lead. You can't recreate that in the first quarter. So really, these are just situations that over time, the coaching staff's hoping Teddy will get over.
Mounting injury report for the Vikings. Of course, that's nothing new. They've dealt with a lot of this stuff this season. It seems like just a crazy amount of adversity in terms of that. Phil Lodeholt spoke today about his season's done. Who are some of the other guys, Andrew, that the Vikings might be missing this Sunday, or at least are in danger of missing Sunday?
Yeah, people who were on the injury report that missed practice today, safety Harrison Smith with a shoulder and ankle ailment. Those two things have been bothering him pretty much all season, so I wouldn't worry too much about him. If you remember, he sprained that ankle, I believe, up in Lambeau on October 2nd, came back 10 days later, and was able to play even though he was in a walking boot before. Other guys, Cordero Patterson was listed with a knee injury. He hurt that on a 42-yard kickoff return on Sunday. He's been a guy that's just been dinged up nonstop, and when he finally got something going on that 42-yard return, he gets hurt. So just kind of snake-bitten with him. Mike Zimmer said today that, Cordero has been a little frustrated lately, but that's a good thing because that means he's not satisfied with where he's at. Other guys they've been missing, running back Jerick McKinnon sat out again today. Tight end Chase Ford sat out. And then defensive tackle Sharif Floyd sat out again with a knee injury that he suffered a week ago in practice. Mike Zimmer said in his press conference before today's practice that he expects Sharif to be back. So if he's already saying that, then this is probably more precautionary than anything him sitting out today.
Running back that they did get back, though, Matt Asiata cleared concussion protocol, so that's good news for the Vikings.
He did, and I tried to ask Mike Zimmer today, hey, if Ben Tate's healthy, if everybody's healthy regardless, do you want to get Ben Tate some carries just to see what the kid can do? And Mike just said, hey, we'll see. So he's not he's not giving up much on that.
He doesn't like talking about the game plan too much, I guess.
Not at all.
Yeah. The final thing that I wanted to talk about, Andrew, was that conference call with Ryan Kalil. I thought it was very thoughtful, and he was pretty funny. Talking sort of about his brother, his younger brother, of course, Matt Kalil, who plays for the Vikings and whose struggles have been well documented this season. What did you kind of take from that phone call with Ryan?
It was actually pretty funny because Ryan's the kind of guy who, I mean, he's an 8-year NFL vet. He's a little more laid back. He's got his job secured. And I'm not saying Matt's not laid back. That's just kind of their personality in general, it seems to be with their family. But Matt's the kind of guy in his 3rd year who's really frustrated, trying to prove some things. The knee might still be bothering him. He was limited today in practice, so it's still bothering him this late into the season. However, with Ryan, he was the kind of guy who could assess his brother's play with a little more, I guess, lighter take on it. He basically just said that, you know, hey, I know he's a guy that's been struggling a little bit. He even addressed the fan situation where Matt Kalil had a videotaped of him flipping a hat off a fan's head. Ryan actually came on, so that's probably my fault because that was my go-to move with him as a kid was to flip his hat off. But he even added that, hey, I was a little disappointed because he should have done the whole, hey, spilled something and then flicked his nose. Just stuff like that where Ryan can, you know, provide a little bit of humor to the situation that's brought the Vikings down and Matt Kalil pretty down. Ryan admitted that this is probably the most frustrated he's seen his little brother, and even ended the conference call by saying, hey, go easy on him. He cares a lot about that place.
Yeah, and it seemed to me, anyways, when we were talking to Matt Kalil earlier this week, he addressed reporters, started to address the fact that he left the locker room without talking, and then also the fan situation. I thought that he was very much, I can't think of the perfect word to use, but I thought Ryan did a good job of characterizing that frustration level sort of boiling over. And what Matt used, he said, he caught me with a short fuse, that the fan had caught him with a short fuse. Now what Ryan said is that the fan said, hey, Matt, I'm your biggest fan. Can I get an autograph? And then Matt went over there to sign, and this guy went on to kind of verbally abuse him, ask him which team he wanted to be traded to, and all that stuff that you read in the